Thank you for allowing me to be part of your special day. It's wonderful to be here in Atlanta and on your beautiful campus. There's always something magical about commencement and the joy it brings to everyone. Another reason that I'm pleased to be here, though, is that I spent a portion of my childhood in Georgia. We lived in Statesboro, where my father was on the faculty of what is now Georgia Southern University and what I knew as Georgia Teachers College. When my father later accepted a teaching position at the University of Northern Iowa and we moved to Cedar Falls, my upbringing was apparent because of a very pronounced Southern accent. Soft, but definitely Southern. In fact, my new teachers in Iowa were so worried about my fitting in that they sent me to speech class to develop a flat Midwestern accent. To this day, though, people tell me that I still have a touch of an appropriately Southern accent. It's certainly faded since the 6th grade, but I'm very proud of my ties to Georgia. My mother grew up in Grovetown, just outside of Augusta, and I have family throughout the state. I want to thank President Bud Peterson for the honor of addressing you today, the class of 2017. As president of the Association of American Universities, I have the privilege of representing 62 of the finest research institutions in the country. Georgia Tech is one of them. Thank you also to the families for supporting these graduates emotionally, spiritually, and ever more important, financially, throughout their Georgia Tech careers. And a special thank you to the graduates for believing in yourselves and believing in our collective future. This is a very special day for you and your families, as well as for your professors and classmates who have helped you achieve success as you prepare for tomorrow. Now, I realize that I'm the only thing standing between you and that future, so I will take just a little of your time to share some thoughts on today's world and your place in it. Earlier this year, a graduate of Georgia Tech, astronaut Shane Kimbrough, returned to Earth after spending 6 months as commander of the International Space Station. I'm old enough to recall being awed by astronaut John Glenn's 1962 orbit of Earth at the start of the space race. It lasted a mere 5 hours. So I find it fascinating and a tribute to science and technology that men and women now live and work in space for months. Colonel Kimbrough earned his master's degree in operations research in 1998 from the H. Milton Stewart School of Industrial and Systems Engineering. During his time in space, he was a very busy man. He grew and harvested red romaine lettuce. He went on 4 spacewalks and conducted some 250 scientific experiments. He used a robotic arm to capture another space vehicle, and he made sure to fly the Rambling Wreck flag. A day after his space capsule landed at Kazakhstan, he talked about adjusting again to life on Earth. Yesterday, I was a little wobbly walking around, he said, but today I'm much more stable. I think he summed up how a lot of us feel these days, a bit off kilter, at times a bit shaky, and then we steady ourselves for the next day. This past year has been a remarkable one. We have witnessed the fury of nature and the effects of climate change with Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, and the devastating California fires. The destruction is immense and it's daunting. We have endured fractured political discourse at all levels, and to a degree that leaves us feel discouraged and at times angry and adrift as citizens. From physical violence in Charlottesville to ugly exchanges on Twitter, we find ourselves asking, who are we as a nation? And we have suffered loss, personal and painful. Your campus experienced the unthinkable with the death of Scout Schultz. It is a tragedy that reminds us of the importance of mental health care and training, both for those who suffer and others who interact with those in need. As I said, it has been a remarkable year. It's really enough to make you want to stay in bed with the covers pulled up over your head. And I'm certain at times it's been difficult for you to focus on your coursework and your exams. But I'm an optimist. I always have been. I'm an optimist because I believe in education, in science, in technology, and in you, the graduates of Georgia Tech, as the leaders of tomorrow. This past year has brought good news, important news, that is making our world better. We're seeing a long-needed correction in the ways women are treated in the workplace, thanks to courageous individuals speaking out against sexual harassment and intimidation. It's been difficult and messy, and it's not over. But I believe this movement is fundamentally changing the workplace that you are entering, and changing it for the better. We've learned of fascinating genetic breakthroughs that will help us better understand pancreatic cancer, insomnia, and obesity. For the first time, scientists used a powerful editing tool known as CRISPR to eliminate a potentially deadly gene from a human embryo. It is an achievement of genetic engineering that should give us pause for its unthinkable promise and power. Researchers this past year shared the detection of 2 neutron stars colliding, a crash from 130 million years ago that created a gravitational wave which just now arrived in our atmosphere. Hundreds of researchers, including those here at Georgia Tech, collaborated on this extraordinary discovery. And let's not forget the solar eclipse and how for a few hours in August, we all came together to stare at the sky and observe something rare and beautiful. I know it occurred at the start of the fall semester here on campus, and what a memorable way to begin your first day. Your community also celebrated the naming of a Rhodes Scholar, biochemistry major Calvin Ronells. He's the 6th Tech student to win this prestigious award, and more significantly, the 3rd in 5 years. This speaks volumes to the quality of students and faculty at Georgia Tech. I could go on. Like I've said, it's been a remarkable year with science, medicine, technology, and engineering shaping our world in marvelous and diverse ways. So the question is, how will we approach tomorrow? How will you approach tomorrow? Will you see the good or the bad, the positive or the negative? We all know the answer. You are optimists. You chose Georgia Tech because you wanted the best for yourself with an education from one of the nation's finest universities. Now, as alumni, you can add to Georgia Tech's luster with your own accomplishments. It is up to you and your imagination to determine just how bold those achievements will be. Einstein once said that imagination is more important than knowledge. That tells me your imagination, combined with your Georgia Tech experience, will be an unstoppable force for tomorrow. As a college graduate, you have an obligation to create a better future. Society has invested in you as a student, and now awaits the return of your ideas and inventions. We are in dire need of great minds that are eager to collaborate and create, to find solutions to problems that sometimes seem overwhelming. Crises like global warming, terrorism, and racial intolerance. We absolutely need your passion, your creativity, your intelligence. More than anything, though, we need your vision for a better world. Imagine a world, and imagine an America committed to adequate health care, full equality, and environmental stewardship. Picture second to none downtowns, healthy neighborhoods, and fully funded public schools. We welcome your talent and your ideas. We need your talent and your ideas. Do all that you can to promote science, develop technology, and respect both. Show the world you have a Georgia Tech education with all the critical thinking that comes with it. And give back to your university, not only financially, although I know President Peterson would welcome the support, but give back with your time. Share your achievements. Tomorrow's Yellow Jackets will look to you for inspiration, and I'm certain that you'll have plenty to share. I began this morning telling you about an earlier inspiring graduate of Georgia Tech. When Shane Kimbrough was asked what was the most special thing about his time on the International Space Station, he said it was the view every day and every night of planet Earth. It is, he said, beautiful, spectacular, and fragile. This is your world, beautiful, spectacular, and fragile. Protect it and prolong it with your knowledge. Treasure it with your family and friends. And whether you remain here in Atlanta or find yourself orbiting the globe, never let the world forget you're a rambling wreck from Georgia Tech. It's an exceptional calling card. Congratulations and good luck.